So it's the second hat trick.
Yeah.
That's the kind of
Holy
year
shit.
EA has had.
Wow.
This has been, to my recollection, the worst year EA has had.
Oh, I can't think of it.
I'm not saying it is all time, but like as long as I have been working in this industry, I have never seen them fuck up this much.
No.
Oh man.
I mean, and that's you're including like the year that they had NBA Live coming out.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
right.
Elite.
You're including the
Yeah.
year they had NBA Elite coming out.
That's right.
I'm talking about the Sim City shit.
Oh my god.
oh, mama.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Oh,
What if you had 4 Sim Cities in 1 year?
Poor Sim City.
I know.
I
I,
know,
wanted
that
that
game
game to
should-
be good.
Should have been so much
too.
better.
Thank God there were Cities Skylines.
Yeah.
Totally.
Thanks for reminding me about SimCity.
boy.
You know, it was a-
I've been thinking about SimCity a lot lately. In the wake of this stuff, just been like, man.
Just imagine you in a bathtub thinking about
I
SimCity.
definitely thought a lot about Maxis when the visceral stuff came down.
It's like EA has.
I mean, dude, the EA graveyard is immense.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
What's number one of these?
Battlefront.
It's got to be
Battlefront's huge.
Battlefront.
EA shareholders have lost $3.1 billion in the last week because of Battlefront 2.
And they got
Oh,
yelled at by
brother.
Disney.
An important distinction that I
yeah.
have seen people mention is that the like where EA is at now with stock was basically where they were in July. So it's not like they have had like some major precipitous like unprecedented fall. It's just that they went up for a while and then they
Back
went
down.
down.
Yeah, but then
they've been
just
at near
launched-
all-time highs for a while.
Yeah.
They
like-
also just launched this game. It should have
They
gone
did.
up, right?
Yeah.
Like that's.
But that's so.
It was an 8% loss versus a 3% average growth. So
Yeah, they've had
that's impressive because you announced that you have to stop doing loot boxes.
Like I wonder how the financials. I bet Battlefront probably sold decently. Like it is a Star Wars property.
Yeah, and word of mouth got really toxic around it in a way that, like,
Wow.
well, I was going out around Thanksgiving shopping and stuff like that, and I saw a lot of pictures of this online, but I can definitely verify, like, saw a lot of copies of that game and a lot of PS4 hardware bundles hanging out.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I
that
did
hit
see pictures of
mainstream
that.
news.
Purely-
That's where this story tilted and became the
Yes.
hottest mess.
Oh right, where like
Yeah.
government regulation.
Yeah.
And it's on CNN.
Yeah, we're
That's
talking about
another thing.
government regulators coming in. Yeah, like it's showing up
Right,
on
thanks, EA.
mainstream news now.
It was when financial reporting started covering the story is probably why the stock takes a hit. That's probably why Disney gets on the phone and says, hey, this thing that we totally approved of, we unapprove of it. What are we doing? What's going on? Hey, we need to fix this. This is real bad.
What the fuck are you
Anaheim
doing with
already
this
really
thing
hates
that we
us.
totally know what you're doing?
Yeah, right, exactly. Hey, this thing we totally signed off on. How dare you?
Yeah.
And they as of the recording of this, they haven't turned the store back on, right?
No.
Last I saw it, they still have the Get More Crystals thing,
Yeah.
but it says there's nothing here.
Like there
What are you
was
looking at?
still a sign up in the GameStop when I walked by that was like, "Get the enhanced edition with 12,000 crystals today." And I was going to take a picture of it. Like, because there were physical cards in stores that were
Yeah.
crystals for sale.
Yeah.
It never launched with the store. It never officially.
But
came.
if you redeem
Yeah.
those codes, you would still get crystals.
what would you get?
You
now?
can still, if you
still
have
buy
crystals, you
the-
can still
You can
spend them.
still- yeah, you
All they
can, like,
removed
buy
is the
more
ability to
crystals.
buy them with real money from the game itself. Like the page, like all that stuff is still in there. They haven't changed shit about the game.
So we should run down the timeline really quick.
I don't know if I can.
Well, really quick, I think the most important thing that I want to touch on is before the game officially launched, they were like, "Oh, we hear your concerns. Don't worry, we're going to reduce the costs by 75%."
So
Of the-
let's take it back though. Post beta,
Yes.
they had to get out there. I want to say at least twice, and say, "All right, because of your feedback, we've reworked the way the cards work. We're changing the way that like they were making changes to that system around the negativity they were seeing during beta. They put out that big public beta. Then at some point they had a review event." That we were invited to but did not attend, but we talked to some people who did go, and sure enough, as their footage verifies, the credit costs for Heroes were way lower at the review event than they were in the shipping game. That might not be nefarious considering how many times this shit has changed.
Yeah.
That might just be where they were at, and then at the last minute they went, actually turned it up. Then
the day before,
so the day before official
proper
release, which if you bought the expensive version of the game, you were already in, and EA Access users were already playing the 10-hour trial of the game.
Yeah.
The feedback from that led to them cutting the prices by 75%.
in addition
to the rewards, they cut the rewards by 75%. And then hours before the game was to go on sale proper, like 5 o'clock Thursday, for a game that would go on sale 9 o'clock Thursday night, midnight East Coast, that's when suddenly all the credits got yanked out of the store. They had not issued a statement yet.
Yeah, they made the change before putting out any messaging.
And then they put out the statement. There was talk for a while, like, oh, we heard that like they were going to make a statement the following day, and the YouTube, some YouTubers had been notified about the changes. Or, like there was a very confusing moment there for about an hour, and then they just put out the statement. They put out multiple versions of the statement. One that was like social media friendly, like a Twitter, like a GIF they could attach in Twitter that just says like, "We're sorry, we'll listen more" in big letters, or it's like a shorter version of the full apology.
The messaging is pretty good, though. The pinned tweet on EA Star Wars is, "This is the Star Wars game you're looking for." So sounds like it's going.
I know that. I know that reference.
With a real good ratio.
And there's an emoji hand doing this.
And then they just last night they sent out an email saying the Star Wars 2 Battlefront reviews are in, and they put together an accolades trailer. They call it "Watch the Accolades trailer," and it's like 3 quotes that say like it's like a movie.
It sounds good.
Sounds good.
They use Giant Bomb's review?
No, weirdly
weird.
enough.
Okay.
They just didn't. Yeah. Just put that out there one more time. A recut version of that trailer would probably be pretty funny.
It would be a very funny thing with actual quotes. From
Oh,
actual
that has
reviews.
happened by now, probably.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that and maybe I'm not 100% right, but that, as I understand it, is the timeline. Also, keep in mind at E3 they got up there and said no season pass, but didn't really talk anything at all about progression and how it would work.
Yeah,
like that was something that like one of their YouTube game changers got to break about, like, oh yeah, star cards, let's talk about it. And they're like, wait, what? Yeah, the timeline or their rollout of information was bad. The information itself was worse, and their reaction to it has been floundering.
And to cap everything off, they have now invited the attention of the government.
Yeah, congratulations. You're blowing up everyone else's
Ruining
spot.
it for everybody.
bunch of dum-dums.
Yeah.
Like even the people that are like reining this in more, in at least somewhat more responsible ways. I don't want to debate are all of these bad, yes or no here, because they probably are.
Yeah.
But like this is bigger than Battlefront. This is something that the industry is going to have to contend with for probably most of 2018 now.
Yeah.
Like figuring out what all this really means.
Like there's so many different ways that this is the thing. Like it is taken just purely in a vacuum. Like all the events that have led up to this game and how it turned out are a mess. The culmination of EA's year in this is a mess. The ramifications this will have for other things going forward is a mess. Like it's a branching tree of shit.
I do feel like when you have a timeline of events,
Yeah.
like you're in.
Yeah, anytime you can, there are enough
Plot a
points
timeline,
on that
yeah.
calendar that
You rank up there.
yeah.
And it's like, with visceral games like that is a rotten situation. The way they messaged it was bad. The reporting about what really happened there was bad. And it's basically the same situation with Mass Effect Andromeda. That studio got, at the very least, drastically reduced in number of people and responsibilities. They canceled DLC. Like, the response to it was just so toxic that they couldn't do anything else but mothball one of their biggest franchises.
Mass Effect.
They did. They killed the Mass
Stop
Effect.
saying that.
Killed it.
They did.
Stop saying that.
It's a fact.
It's not.
Shivved it in the shower.
Just call it ME Andromeda. It's not a Mass Effect game. It's different.
Vinny, let's talk about the genophage and what it did to Mass Effect.
Oh gosh. There's
no cure.
They used the Renegade option on the Mass Effect series.
They pulled
Renegade.
They pulled Renegade every single chance they got.
Mass Effect out of a window.
The most Renegade interrupt of all time. They slapped every newscaster they could.
Right up until like a week ago, I was ready to come in here and argue that Mass Effect was the winner of this category.
No.
Yeah, but then
Battlefront happened. EA was about to win this category, and then EA was like, "Hold my beer."
At the last second.
EA is a very big company, and Mass Effect is arguably one of their. Well, I don't know. In the hearts of many, one of their biggest franchises. I guess. Like,
Also,
you argue-
Star Wars is a pretty big franchise.
Yeah.
And they fucked up so bad that the people who run Star Wars are like, yo.
At least on Star Wars, it's like there's something with the Star Wars stuff. It's like they fucked up in a way that tried to make them money. With like Mass Effect, they just like kind of put out a game that was just kind of broken in a lot of places. That's like not going to do anything well. Like Star Wars, it just feels like somebody read the room completely wrong and was just like, "We can get away with this, right? Yeah, we focus tested this with at least 2 people, and they are willing to pay for Star Wars."
It's just nuts. You think of EA, you have to imagine that they go through so many different levels of focus testing and just feedback and
external
everything.
Consultants coming in. Like there have to have been multiple people along the way that kind of maybe said like, I don't know, you guys, it seems a little rough, and they went like, eh.
They're on like a car trip and like somebody keeps dropping something and then says grab the wheel, and that person drops their keys and says, hold on, I gotta find it, grab the wheel, and like they're just yanking it in different ways.
And you have to imagine that a lot of this gets, if you back this out far enough, it comes down to just like, okay, we need to make X amount of dollars with this thing to return on the investment, and we've decided season passes are not a viable thing to sell anymore. Figure it out. Also, you can't use cosmetics. Figure it out.
There was just a thing I just saw in looking at the timeline that said, I guess somebody found the cosmetics menu in Battlefront 2 that was like hidden in there.
Whoops.
I don't know. That's a breaking.
There are some additional skins. Like if you buy the expensive version of the game, you can get like Kylo Ren with no hood on or something, or with the hood on. I don't know.
Yeah, like Scavenger Ray, I think was one of them.
Like extra vape edition Kylo Ren.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff at least they have said, right? That like
I believe that is on record now that they could not do the cosmetic stuff.
It's not. I don't think it's on
official.
record. That was like the Venture Beat reported that it would, like when all this was happening.
Oh, okay.
But the EA has never come out and said it.
Yeah, because that would be like pointing the finger at Disney, which they could never do. They could never come out there and say, like, Disney wouldn't let us do the thing that you are telling us to do. Because that's not being a good partner.
Doesn't Lang say you never throw your partners under the bus?
This story here says their CFO
they're in the trench together on this one.
Yes.
Wait, what does it say?
They're feasting together.
This says they're
no,
they're starving together.
It says EA CFO came out and said in replied that EA was limited by the well-defined Star Wars canon and what it could do or offer with regard to customization.
What's the date on that?
That is yesterday.
Oh, geez.
All right.
Okay, then they have come out.
So they have found their partner.
asked
to add an investor panel why customization options did not figure more into Battlefront 2's controversial loot crate system as opposed to using player progression items, which many users have found off-putting. Blake Jorgensen replied that EA was limited, etc., etc.
Man, the mess that never ends.
I put a star next to Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
I think we're
I started to ask like, hey, what should we call this entry officially? But then I decided that we should just call it Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
But people will know.
Just everything around it.
Get it.
Yeah.
It is a Death Star rolling down a hill into a crowd of screaming children.
Into a Sarlacc pit. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that works too. All right,
Star Wars.
It'll work.
I wonder if they could salvage it.
I really want to know what the first month sales end up being. Like the first game sold 14 million copies supposedly.
Yeah.
I think I got that right.
15
it was a lot.
and I think like 12 was in the first 3 months or 6 months or something.
So
like that.
I am really curious to see if there's any real impact on this stuff. Because when this stuff all started happening, you look at like the history of boycotts across, gaming and all this other stuff. Like people say a lot of stuff, but they don't often stick to their guns. And so this seemed like it was kind of more of the same on that. And you're like, you're going to say a lot of bad stuff about Battlefront 2, but people kept on it.
Saw a whole lot of people talking about getting refunds.
Yeah. People, and that's all anecdotal. You saw a lot of people doing it for sure. I'm sure that got impacted to the point where they had to do something, where EA had to make a change. And that's awesome. Like I've become pretty cynical about that stuff, but this is like a genuine moment for change. And I don't know if it'll be good or bad, because I think when you've got the specter of government intervention over it, that's usually not going to lead to good outcomes. But you could make the argument that EA brought it on themselves.
And it's all compounded by the fact that when you look at that game in just in a vacuum, irrespective of everything else going on around it, you can see that glimmer of a game you would want to play.
Yep.
You can see it in there.
I still kind of want to play it.
Yeah.
I know, I do too. Like, it looks fun.
It's still some
looks
dumb
fun.
Star Wars fantasy wish fulfillment.
I know.
I think the campaign's pretty bad.
It is.
Yeah, which is too bad, because like parts of, like, I don't know, that weird multiplayer thing with like the Yoda and like everybody is like, nah, yeah, I play this weird mashup.
And space battles. Who doesn't want to do the goddamn Star Wars space
like,
battles?
Flying around in the thing.
Lando getting chopped up by like 3 Sith Lords with lightsabers.
Like, that looked fun.
Like while they kneel, which is like really weird because they like take a knee as they're like dying, right?
I think
They're,
Lando
it's like
goes
they
on and he's like,
don't die.
all right, guys, Darth Vader and Darth Maul and Kylo Ren.
Look, I've just got this pistol, man. I don't blast her down. Yeah, all right.
right, because like nobody dies, right? They just kind of like do things.
You got me.
Look, man, I'm not a Jedi. I'm a mayor. All right, I don't know.
I've got charm.
It's really weird. Yeah. Also, Mass Effect stuff is really sad.
It is.
They killed Mass Effect.
It's all bad.
Pour one out.
There were a lot of well-meaning people that probably worked on Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Star Wars
And Star
Battlefront.
Wars.
Sure sounds like
It
it.
seems
Absolutely.
like it's-
and
Untitled Star Wars project.
It feels so bad for those people that had nothing to do with
it
these
sucks.
stupid decisions.
Yeah. All right. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is the hottest mess of the year.
Do we want to call it EA Presents Hottest Mess?
I think we kind of have to.
Yeah. Exclusively EA's category.
It's their second
Also,
category.
EA Games Most Disappointing Game of the Year category.
I know. Well, can't wait for worst game.
At least Madden was good.
Yeah.
I, for one, take no pleasure in arriving at these decisions.
No.
Like,
No,
EA
it sucks. It actually
has-
sucks.
Like, it's funny in a cosmic sense.
Yeah, like
This Battlefront one though is a sounds like a human error of like miscalculation and greed.
Yeah.
So like
yes, that one in particular, sure.
versus like a lot of hardworking people who like didn't have the resources to do it. Like the Battlefront 2 stuff, I cannot imagine game designers like coming up with that system on their own to be like, I'm making a great system here.
Like the only
versus
thing,
like people being like, how can we monetize this in a way that lasts a long time?
the only thing I'd add to that is I do think there is a human error of greed in there, but it's at the management level that unfortunately put these studios in a position where they did not have the resources and did not have the oversight necessary to make the game that people wanted.
Right. Yeah.
In both cases.
I mean, because the charging for those characters was a thing they switched at the last minute anyway. So like it wasn't obviously
The issue, one of the main issues I have with all this is like the number of changes they've made from the beta to launch just tells you that they have zero vision for this stuff.
Right.
That they're just like, oh, we thought that we could get away with this. We didn't really know. Like,
Right.
Their willingness to change it on the fly like this just says like, oh, yeah, we made it so we could change this.
Yeah, we set it pretty high.
Yeah.
I guess that didn't work. I mean, there are what seems like some inherent game design flaws in the way that you get the cards and the crafting and stuff like that. But like those kind of changes, in particular, the pricing just seems like I'm gonna try and get as much as I can.
I mean,
And we couldn't get
removing
away
the
with it.
ability to spend any real money on crates in that game, it doesn't become like a great game at that point. If anything, it just creates this gaping hole where you're like, oh, now I really have to grind for all this like stuff that like makes your character just straight up better in a lot of cases, and this is not fun. And like, there's that analyst that they dug into and found out that he owned some EA stock. But the analyst was like, "Oh, they're overblowing this thing. If you play this game 2.5 hours a day for a year, like all these gamers do, you're practically making money on this thing. $60
On like a per hour basis,
Yeah,
like it's cheaper to play
exactly,
this than to see The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It was like $60 is cheap for games.
That's how they got here. There's definitely people in a room like writing that down, showing some chart, and being like, "That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes
People will
sense."
be okay with this.
Yeah, people are
Yeah,
fine.
fine.
There's best value for these crystals.
All right.
All right. Let's hope that EA controls some very cool video gaming properties. Let's hope that they do better.
Fewer cool ones than the start of the year.
Let's hope that they do better.
And
Bring
Lord
back
knows-
SSX.
Lord knows, as the history shows, they often do great things with those properties.
Yeah. All right. That's our hottest mess. Battlefront 2. Also Visceral Games. Also Mass Effect. Andromeda.
Anthem in stores Q4 2018.
I hope Anthem is good.
Pre-order now.
Don't take
Get
BioWare
2
from
bonus
me.
crates.
Don't. Casey Hudson's back. Everything's going to be fine.
I kind of already took BioWare.
Don't say that.
Get the doctors back.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm just going to go drink beer with Dr. Greg. That's to make everything okay.